If you had all the money in the world, but you still had to work 5 hours a day, what would you do? This was a really important question which I asked myself, and it came at the right time when I was at a very difficult decision in my current business, which I had spent just over 2 years working at, where I felt burnt out and I needed to make a decision on was I going to keep doing this or was I going to throw it all away. And in the end, I did end up just throwing it away because of this question. And I'm now doing things that are more meaningful to me, but I want to talk more about why this was. So, what was really important for me with this question is realizing that, right, if I had all the money in the world, right, or even if I was making £10,000, 50,000, or even £100,000 a month, like ridiculous money, or at least ridiculous money for me anyway, would I, but obviously I'd still have to work and I'd still want to work. Genuinely, what would I want to do? And I thought about, right, well, if I was making loads of money from the business I'm currently doing, would I still want to be working on this? And it's like, not really. Not really. And the biggest issue for me is that I got into that business for all the wrong reasons. I got into that initially for just the sake of making money, right? Originally, I was in university and I saw a course around making money online. It had copywriting and all sorts of things. And I thought, well, it's better than university. And so I went into that and I ended up leaving uni and dropping out the first year just to basically go all in on that. And I was able to make some money, but honestly, in the 2.5 years, I really didn't make much money at all compared to what I could have done and compared to what other people probably made in that time frame. But what was really important that when I realized that, I was like, right, well, chances are it's not going to matter how much money I make from this if I just don't like doing the damn thing anyway. And it made me realize that, look, I would much rather do something that I find fulfilling, that is meaningful to me, and make far less money from it than doing something which I don't really care about that makes me lots of money. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that the thing that you're doing is interesting, but also pays as well, right? Because that's just where we are. But again, a lot of it is just understanding that this is your life, and if you're not living it the way you want to live it, then effectively, like, what's the point, right? And so, like, I'm finding for me, like, I'm less attached to things like money and really the end outcome at this point, and more focused about, right, well, if I don't feel good now, then with what I'm doing, then chances are I'm not really going to feel that much better, or I might even feel worse later if I try and keep doing the same thing. Because I find that a lot of people, and obviously including myself, were so fixated on that end outcome, on that amount of money that I wanted to make every month, that I lost track of how I was feeling day to day. And sure, you're not always going to feel great. And sure, when you're working on, something, when you're building a project, when you're, I don't know, doing client work, whatever it is, it, you're going to feel the pressure. It's going to feel a bit stressful maybe. But if you, like, what I noticed for myself at least, I just felt down all the time, right? Like, there was never really moments where I felt that enjoyed and fulfilled with my business. And even when I did get paid by clients, whether they were new or, continuous, like, the enjoyment was very, very brief. And so it's like now with the stuff that I'm doing now, which when I asked myself that question around, well, if I had all the money in the world, what would I do? But I still had to work obviously 5 hours a day. It was like, right, well, I want to do more creative things. I want to be able to build on projects which I can appreciate, but also, other people can also appreciate. And ideally, I want those projects to be stuff which, last a lifetime, things that, I can sort of show and say, hey, look, here's what I built. I hope you enjoy it. Like I hope that you can see the value in it also. And this is what effectively led me to the thoughts of YouTube and making video games with AI. And that's something which I've been sort of more so trying to keep as consistent as I can at since June. And obviously now that it's the 13th of December at the time of me recording this, effectively it's like, look, I just want to keep the consistency going. And I've noticed over, the last few weeks, but even the last month or so, like I have been able to progress in that and it's been enjoyable. And for reference, I want to be super clear here. I'm really not making that much money. I'm not. But I've felt probably the best I have ever felt in the last few weeks because I'm working on things that are more meaningful to me and interesting. Which means that when I, years down the line, assuming I stay consistent with my actions, when I actually start making a decent amount of money, I know that I'm going to somewhat stay fulfilled with what I'm doing, as long as I don't go entirely off the rails. And that's what's most important to me. So, really, if you're going to take anything away from this video, I would really ask yourself that question. If you had all the money in the world, but you still had to work 5 hours a day, what would you do? And if you can't think of anything right from the get-go, make an ikigai. Figure out, literally, whether you write this down or something, figure out what you like to do, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. Figure that out, brainstorm it, take 30 minutes, an hour, as long as you need. Don't rush it, but just think about it. Just jot it down and do something about it, because that should hopefully give you even at least 1% more clarity on what you might be interested in. Because again, one of the last things that I'll leave you with before I end this video is a thought and a phrase I really like and really reminds me. And it's quite simply, you are going to die. So live life on your own terms. I'll say that again. You are going to die. So live life on your own terms. And I think, look, again, just that's what's most important for me. It's if I can live life on my own terms and do things that I enjoy and ideally get paid for it, that's what matters. And that's what I'm working towards. And hopefully I can see you working towards that as well.